a movie tie-in game. It's been about 3 episodes since I've done one of those, so I thought it was time for another one. The game's a 3D platformer. Yep, we're playing another one. We start off with a scene from the movie. Woody gets kidnapped, Buzz picks up a feather, and now he's doing odd jobs around the house. I can see why they left this part out of the movie. Also the part where Andy's basement is covered in poisonous green sludge. What? What? Why is there toxic green sludge all over the floor? Did Andy's sister get into the nuclear reactor storage again? Curse her! Now I can't get to the board games! At least not without getting the shield power-up, which Mr. Potato Head won't give me until I find his missing ear. And by the way, I was searching for his ear for, let's just say, a very long time. And in more specific terms, let's just say, over 5 minutes. And in actual terms, 11 minutes. Give or take. I only found it through pure luck. I literally stumbled into it by accident. It's so small and hard to notice. If I hadn't gotten lucky, I'd probably still be looking for it now. And by the way, he does this a lot. Mr. Potato Head refuses to give me any power-ups until I help him out. Look, I need those power-ups to save our friend, and also help people with their unimportant problems. But yeah, you want to save Woody, don't you? Although I guess wanting your arm back isn't too selfish. Alright, let's talk gameplay. It's not horrible. The control isn't the worst, but it can be a bit on the sensitive and derpy side at times. I sometimes miss what I'm jumping for, and a lot of the time I, for some reason, can't grab onto the ledge of a platform. And that is really annoying, and it can often make certain areas a complete annoyance to traverse through. On the second level, you have to climb up this giant tree. It's a long journey to the top, and if you mess up even once, then it's back to the bottom to start all over again. And now I'm fighting a plane boss. Not a plane boss, but a plane boss. I mean, I guess he is pretty plain, but I mean, he's a plane. Although he's a pretty plain boss. You know what? Forget it. No explanation, by the way. I don't really remember this guy from the movie, and now he's kind of just suddenly here and trying to kill me. Nah, I'll go with it. Pretty boring battle as well, by the way. Most of the boss battles in this game are not very good. There's only like 1 or 2 of them that are a bit fun, and even those ones are pretty repetitive. One problem I have with this game is the camera. The camera does autocorrect itself, but that doesn't stop the game from getting stuck at some weird angles. I will say though that the camera isn't terrible. But on active camera mode, the camera is almost too diligent. Whenever I'm trying to aim at an enemy or line up for a jump or something like that, the camera constantly moves every time that I stop walking. I suggest using passive camera mode. I usually prefer active camera mode, but yeah, it's just kind of annoying in this game. Buzz! Okay, here's one of my biggest problems with the entire game. The different characters that you take missions from never shut up. They scream and screech your name constantly to get your attention. I was just talking to you. What do you want? I'm right here. Stop yelling at me. Shut up, shut up, shut up! And sometimes they even almost sound mean and condescending.
Hey, Buzz.
Like, Buzz, can you hurry up and get over here? I have something for you to do.
Hey, Buzz.
I mean, really, the gall. Who do you think you are, Bo Peep?
Can you find my sheep?
Oh, never mind. Now it's funny. She sounds like a sad old lady who just desperately wants her sheep back.
Can you find my sheep?
Okay, at least with Mr. Potato Head, I can see why he'd want me to find his missing eye. But you literally just want to play a game with me. You are purposefully keeping this Pizza Planet token away from me until I get you some wrenches that you threw all around the place. This isn't a game. Hurry up and give me that thing. We need it to save Woody. What does any of this have to do with saving Woody, actually? They're just tokens. Now I know what you're all thinking after the last episode. And yes, this game is in fact better than Ninja Bread Man. Big surprise. This game is somewhere in the middle of the spectrum. It's not nearly as good as classics like Mario 64 or Spyro the Dragon, but it's at least better than Bubsy 3D. It's sort of just meh. Okay, well, maybe it's a bit better than meh. I mean, most of the things that I've been complaining about don't really matter. Don't get me wrong, the controls aren't perfect, and neither is the camera, but the logic of using Pizza Planet tokens to save Woody does not matter at all. That was just a joke. Despite the derpiness at times, the game is actually fun. Ultimately, I enjoy jumping to and from platforms. I enjoy the power-ups. I enjoy many of the mechanics in the game, like springs, shooting enemies, zip lines. Ultimately, it's fun. Especially some of the more intense platforming bits, like in the construction site level. It's not perfect, though. On top of the problems I've listed, there are various little things that bother me. Like this part in the construction site level. You press this button and it makes the front of the truck lower down, and then a moment later it raises back up. It took me a while to figure that out, though. It didn't pan over when I pressed the button and show me that it raised it up. And so when I didn't notice what had happened when I pressed the button, I just kept searching for what the button did, even after the time limit was up. Because I didn't know there even was a time limit. All they really had to do here was put in a clock ticking sound effect, which would indicate that the button caused something nearby to happen temporarily. It's not a huge mistake that ruins the entire game, but it is something small that I did notice. And this part is just straight up annoying. You have to ride these giant elevators and grab this little mouse on the side of the wall. The mouse keeps moving, and I have to jump towards it and touch it to collect it. It's really hard. And also, God, this level as a whole is just really annoying. Waiting for and riding these elevators sucks, and I keep falling. What the hell is it about games having bad levels about elevator shafts? First Drake of the 99 Dragons, and now this. The music is not great. Well, it's okay, but none of the music is catchy or memorable. There are a couple of levels with decent background music, but honestly, only the main menu music actually resembles the movie. And that's because that music is literally from the movie. The graphics are good though, the game is colorful, and it looks enough like the movie it's based on. The alley level looks especially nice, with puddles and rain. Some effort was put into this game, that is very evident. Overall, the graphics are good. The construction site looks a little ugly, but the rest of the game looks nice. I guess if I had to nitpick the graphics, I'd say that the game is a little bit on the dark side. Most, if not all, of the levels take place at nighttime for some reason. And although for the most part the game is colorful, it could be a bit brighter. It's not as bad as Rascal was, but still, it could be a bit brighter. But again, that's a bit of a nitpick. It's bright enough to see everything fine. Overall, the game's not that bad. It's pretty decent. Wow. A game based on a movie that isn't terrible. I guess they do exist. Hey, wait, no, Bullseye doesn't talk in the movie. Bullseye does not talk in the movie. 0 out of 5 stars. This is a sham. It's completely broken my immersion. Alright, the second to last level is the worst one. It's a giant maze. And by giant, I actually mean giant. Because I'm a toy. In an airport. Luggage claim is bad enough at normal size. This is just... yeah. It's so confusing and everything looks so cluttered and vaguely the same. If that's even a thing, vaguely the same. And the prospector boss is embarrassingly easy. Hands down, the easiest boss in the entire game. And as for the final boss in the game, it's 3 random bosses from earlier. One of them is the easiest boss, the prospector. One of them is the second easiest boss. And the third is the hardest boss. That's a weird combination. And respawn because I got a bunch of lives, and there we go. Beat the game. I will say this, I recommend not getting every single Pizza Planet token in the entire game, because your only reward is this screen. Rip off. And actually, hey, it took me until now to realize something. The Buzz Lightyear action figure comes with a working laser beam? It's not like I'm playing as the fictional character Buzz from within the fictional world of Toy Story. No, I'm the character Toy Buzz. I'm a toy. How is he shooting planes from the sky with a laser gun?
No back talk. I have a laser, and I will use it. You mean the laser that's a light bulb?
Why would you put that line from the movie in the game? It just proves my point. Maybe what we're playing isn't exactly what we think. Maybe we're playing as Buzz Lightyear, and we're seeing the world through his twisted eyes. Buzz Lightyear is completely insane. Even after he seems to understand the fact that he's just a toy, he doesn't. His brain literally will not let him accept the futility of his existence. The fact that he's just a mere child's plaything and nothing more. So, his mind makes up a fake reality. Enemies that aren't really there, friends that don't really exist, laser beams that in reality are just light bulbs. This Buzz in the cutscene trying to tell him that? That's just a manifestation of the last bit of sanity in his head, desperately trying to pull him back, make him face the ugly truth. That he's plastic. He's just plastic, covered in stickers. He is nothing. He's mass-produced, fragile, insignificant nothing. His existence ultimately amounts to nothing more than a chewed-up toy in the back of a closet. Or it's a game based on a movie where children's toys come to life when nobody's around and have adventures. So it doesn't really matter.
Hey, Buzz.
Yeah, that makes more sense. You know, game creators back then really had to learn that pushing big boxes in Ocarina of Time was not the most fun part of the game. In fact, it was probably the most boring part of the game. But, you know, this is fun.